Hey guys, this is ArmedChief, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I try to post educational content about League of Legends, like guides, all that good stuff. I'm a support main. I peaked Plat 3 about a season or two ago, and I've been playing this game for about 5 or so years, so I have a little bit of knowledge on my belt. But I'm going to be showing you guys today basically the best support champions that I think are for, people that are a little newer to the game, like for beginners and, just champions that don't take a lot of knowledge, like just easy chips that you can play in the bot lane and help your team win some more games. And I'm also going to be telling you who I think is the easiest support to play towards the end of the video. So you definitely want to stick around for that and have my opinion on that. I'm actually going to be giving you the two champs that I think are the easiest champs to play. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and hop into a custom game here, and we'll see you guys in the Rift. Okay, so we're finally in the practice tool, and the first champion that I want to talk about is Janna. So Janna, I personally think she's one of the easier champs to play. Her kit is really simple. She has 3 abilities. Q, which, here I'll just go ahead and level up Q so you can see what I'm talking about. So when you press Q, it charges up a tornado like this, and then it throws it. But you can actually use it earlier. Let me go ahead and get myself some gold and level up so I can just show you guys some stuff here. Yeah, let me go ahead and level up these abilities. There we go. Yeah, so Janna, really simple. I'm just gonna give you like a little quick guide so you can just go ahead and jump into your games and be a little bit better than some other Janna players out there. But yeah, so her Q, really simple. You press Q, it charges up Tornado, and you can let it charge fully. Like you don't have to press Q again. It will throw a tornado based off of like where you're putting it. So if I put my mouse here, it's gonna spawn on top of me, but it's gonna throw it where my mouse was. So that's kind of how you use her tornado. And you can actually use it earlier too, so like I can press it twice and it'll use it immediately, but it does less damage that way. Janna's really good into like those really scary champions, like the ones that tend to be like trying to get on top of you always, those kind of champs that are scary, or tanks or anything like that. She's a really good champion to save your ADC or yourself in a bad situation. But anyways, I want to keep it short. So we'll go to her next ability. Her W gives her movement speed. This is probably her most infamous ability. Basically what you do, I'm going to put down a target dummy and show you. Sorry, I'm like a little bit sick. But I put down a target dummy. What her W does, it gives her movement speed as a passive, meaning that just for having the ability, you get more movement speed. So she's also notorious for having, like, she's really fast. I think she's one of the fastest champions of the game. But yeah, you press W on a champion and it throws like a little tornado thing and it does damage. It's her like main poking ability. It's really simple. Like literally it can be so annoying with this champion. So you definitely always, I think in my opinion, always want to max W first. And then her next ability is a shield. So it shields you or an ally or a turret for whatever amount it is that you have at that point in time in the game, and it also gives whoever you're shielding more damage. So if you shield like your ADC or your teammate, it'll give them more damage, and it'll help them definitely in fights. And again, it also shields turrets, so it's really helpful if you want to try to defend your base. The last ability is going to be her ult, which is Monsoon. Basically what it does is if you press it, it's going to heal all of your allies in the target area. And I don't know if you noticed, but it also pushes back enemies. So like if an enemy is like right on top of you, you can press it. So like I'll go here and get on top of this dummy, and if you press it, boom, throws him back. So it's really good to help you and get you out of like those situations. And again, her passive, It just gives her more movement speed. Nothing, nothing too crazy. But she's really, really simple. You definitely want to run Flash and Ignite on her. I will show you what to build on her. You definitely want to run Spell Thief's Edge always. I mean, maybe you could run Relic Shield if you're not really confident in your playing, and you kind of want to just sit back and not really poke too much, or you not be like super super annoying and trying to kill the other enemy, then you could take it. But I honestly recommend taking Spell Thief's Edge always, just almost about every situation. For boots, you could run mobility boots if you are kind of a player that likes to kind of go everywhere. Like, you don't like to always just be bot lane. You like to kind of go everywhere on the map and try to help everybody in your team. That's the way I kind of like to play, but what I would definitely recommend for Janna, at least, is either Lucidity, which gives you cooldown reduction, which basically makes your abilities, come out faster, or you can use Boots of Swiftness. I would definitely recommend Boots of Swiftness. They're very, very good. In terms for her mythic item, or her main ability item. Also, if you guys want me to do like a guide on like all the new items for support and stuff, I can definitely do that, if that's something you guys want. But I would definitely always recommend Imperial Mandate. It's so OP, especially on Janna. So I would definitely recommend going Imperial Mandate, just for that damage. In terms of like other items you want to build on her, you definitely want to go Staff of Flowing Water, just because her shield's pretty OP. And you could definitely go, something like Arden, and like Redemption, and I think that's just about it. I think that like goes up all the spots. But if it doesn't, you could definitely opt for either this one, or you can opt for like this Wardstone thing. But yeah, that's for Janna, and on to my next champion. Okay, so for my next champion, definitely going to be Lux. You maybe have already played her, maybe in like the tutorial or something like that, but Lux is definitely, I think, one of those champs. That's also another, easy to play champ, especially if you're new to the game. She's definitely a fan favorite. So just a couple things with Lux. She's really cool. Her abilities are really simple. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what they do. So her ult, probably the most notorious thing you know her for, the big light beam. I just have a skin, so it looks like that. But, basically, anywhere you put your mouse, you click it, and anyone that's in the beam, gets blasted, and, most of the time they die because it's, one shot. For her E, you kind of throw it, and it leaves this thing, and any enemy that stands in it gets slowed. And then you can activate it again to blow it up early, because you see how, like, it kind of blew up after time. You can activate it again to deactivate it early, or blow it up. Her W is a shield, which is really good if you're playing support, with her in the bot lane. You throw your shield, and it actually gives 2 shields. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. So when you throw it out, it gives a shield, and when it comes back, it gives another shield. So it's really good, in the bot lane, especially, when you're playing, with your team and stuff, and you guys are trying to fight, the enemies and whatnot. And it's also really good in team fights too. Her Q is basically a binding or a root. I just threw it on my own teammate. So basically, anyone that you hit with this thing is gonna get, they're not gonna be able to move for a short amount of time. And it's really good for setting up kills for your teammates and all that stuff. And really good Lux combo, just really quick. Q, E, and then you just hit the ult. You actually want to activate E earlier than me. I'm a little bad, sorry. But yeah, just like a easy, quick Lux combo. Nothing too crazy to pull off. But yeah, Lux is pretty simple champ. Super easy. I also think she's really cheap too. One of the cheapest champs. In terms of items for her, you want to go ahead and run. Oh Jesus! You want to go ahead and run Spell Thieves. Always, every single time. And you want to, or actually, I mean, you could go like Relic Shield too, but I'm pretty sure like most of the time it's always gonna recommend this. So that's definitely okay. Always want to run Spell Thieves. In terms of what boots you want to buy, it really depends on if you want to build full damage, which usually you'll only build full damage if you guys don't have damage on your team. But otherwise, I would say you could build like Boots of Lucidity, so you know you can throw out abilities faster and help your team more. Or you can build Sorcerer's Shoes. So I think I would probably, in most situations, you would build Sorcerer's Shoes or Boots of Lucidity. But yeah, definitely run those. And then in terms of her main item, like her mythic item, I would definitely suggest you could build Luden's Tempest, although I would recommend for support you build Imperial Mandate always on like almost all AP champs, because this item is just too broken right now. So you definitely run this, and then you know all the other items that you could run after that. You could run like a Death Cap or a Zonia's. I think Zonia's is pretty important. You could definitely run that on Lux. But yeah, you definitely choose from like Rabadon's Death Cap, Zonia's, Cosmic Drive is really, really good. And you can also do Horizon Focus. That's also a really, really good item for Lux. And then if you have any other room and you're getting like a lot of kills and stuff, you could run like a Medjai's, but you typically buy that early. Or if it's later on in the game, you could definitely run something like a Banshees, especially if they have like a lot of abilities. And then for her runes, I'll go ahead and throw those up on the screen, and you guys will be able to see what you are going to want to run on Lux. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for Lux. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the next champion. Alright, so the next champion that I want to talk about that I think is really, really easy is Alistar. So I know I've been talking about a lot of like damage dealing, shielding kind of champions, but I wanted to include a champion that is kind of like a tanky-ish, engage kind of champion. So you can also have that in your arsenal. You know, if you're definitely into the game and you need to play tank for your team or something. So Alistar is really, really good for being tank. You typically build like tank items on him and stuff, and his combo or his abilities are really, really simple. No skill shots whatsoever, so you don't have to worry about like, oh god, am I gonna hit them? They're all, you know, point and click, really, really simple. There is one little kind of complicated part of his kit that I'm gonna explain to you. But it's nothing too crazy. He's pretty, really, really simple. So I'm going to go ahead and give myself auto refresh cooldown, add myself some gold, level myself up, and I'm going to go ahead and run you through Alistar's abilities. So basically, Alistar, let me go ahead and put a dummy down. So his Q ability, it smashes the ground and knocks things up. So typically, like if I walk on top of this guy and I press Q, you know, it'll knock him up into the air. And he's really, really good for engaging and setting up, you know, kills and stuff. And you're probably thinking, well, you know, I'm going to have to walk up on top of someone every time I want to knock him up. Okay, so that's where his W comes in. So Alistar's W is a headbutt. So when you press W on them, it knocks them back like that, and it kind of like stuns them for a short period of time. So why Alistar is notorious for is his WQ combo. So if you actually press W and Q fast enough, he will go to them and knock them up. So I will show you now. Okay, if I'm not bad. So you do W, Q, and it knocks them up, and it actually doesn't throw them back. So it's really, really simple. I'm going to do it again. So again, you W to them, and you Q them. Now, if you're standing really, really close to them, it's really easy to mess up the combo. Like, see how I was standing so close to that guy? Oh, my phone's on. I was standing so close to this guy that it threw him back, and I couldn't knock him up. You kind of want to always engage from, like, a distance. You never want to WQ when you're standing too close to them. If you're standing too close to them, you know, you can just press Q and then, you know, boom. And then his E ability, what he does is he like charges up a stun. So these little things here, once it hits that third one, you auto attack them and it stuns them. So it's really, really good for setting up kills. So typically one of the good Alistar combos is like WQ. Okay, I messed that up. But let me go ahead and refresh mana. Typically, like an Alistar combo is like WQE, and then you wait for the thing to charge up, and then you stun them with that auto attack. And then Alistar's ultimate, pretty simple. Basically, what it does is it makes him like a super tank. So you press it, and you see these little things around you. It makes you take 75% reduced damage, or I think it's less earlier on in the game, but it's really, really good. Especially like when you go in on a team fight, it'll help keep you alive. So he's definitely notorious for that. Another thing that people don't know about Alistar's ultimate actually is that it actually, if you're stunned or you can't move or something because someone like used an ability to, you know, disable you and fight, you can actually press Alt and it will remove that. So just a little tip for you guys that are new to Alistar. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and get into the items so I don't take up too much more time. You're definitely going to want to always run Relic Shield on Alistar since he, all of his abilities scale with AP, and it's just good on him in general. In terms of boots, I personally run mobility boots because I just like to roam always with Alistar and help on my lanes. But you could definitely run something like, you could run like these plated steel caps, which are good against armor, or you could run Mercury treads if you're going against, you know, a lot of like magic champions. But yeah, so you could do that. In terms for Alistar's Mythic, you always typically want to run Locket of the Iron Solari. Very rarely are you going to run this Sunfire Aegis thing, but it'll always recommend you this most of the time. So just always, you can always buy this. And then for other items past that, you are always going to want to run Zeke's, Knight's Vow, and then pretty much everything from there is going to be like some kind of take item. So like Thorn Mail, or let me just show you guys. Literally just, you can literally choose anything from here that doesn't have any damage, and it'll work on him pretty much. But yeah, Alistar is really, really simple. And I'll go ahead and throw the runes up on the screen so you guys know what to take on Alistar if you are new to him. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and actually show you guys what I think are the probably easiest champs, support champs that you can play like ever in the game, like ever since they were released, and like at any time and point. I'm going to show you. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the first champ out of 2. Okay, so for the first easiest champ that I think you can honestly play is going to be Yuumi. And to anyone that's played the game before, that's not going to come as a shocker at all. She's super, super simple, and I'm going to show you exactly why, especially if you're new to the game. And if you're wondering, well, you know, Ian, I don't have enough gold to buy her because she's, you know, one of the newer champs, so she costs a little bit more. No worries, the next champ that I'm going to show you and the last champ that I'm going to show you, it's just like Yuumi, and it's so much cheaper. So if you want to go ahead and skip ahead to that point in the video, you can. Yeah, so for anyone that wants to learn how to play Yuumi, definitely the easiest champ in the entire game to play. You could literally, it's so crazy how simple she is. But let me go ahead and level myself up, and then I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we're gonna go ahead and level up her abilities. And okay, so first ability that Yuumi has is her Q. So what her Q does is it throws out like this little thing, and it actually gets bigger the longer that it goes. So typically, you know, you always want to hit someone, you know, when it's huge or big, whatever. Yeah, so that's what her Q does, and you can actually control her Q with your mouse if you are on a ally. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So Yuumi's W lets her attach to an ally, and it actually gives that ally increased damage. So I'm going to go ahead and press W on this target dummy here, and you're going to see that you're going to be like on top of them, and Yuumi actually becomes untargetable when she's on an ally. So it's super OP, I know. It's really, really crazy, and you don't have to move at all. You'll literally move wherever your ally moves. So, you know, they kind of control everything. Yeah, so you can just sit on your ally. You give them your little shield that you get from your passive. You can literally just sit on them forever, although I don't recommend it, but you definitely could. And there's no cooldown on her W either, so you could jump from ally to ally, you know, in case like one of them dies or something. But yeah, so I'm going to show you what the Q thing I'm talking about is. So you see how before when I wasn't on someone, the Q kind of just went out? Well, when you Q now, you can actually control it with your mouse. So, and you see how it kind of gets bigger, and then you can, you know what I was saying? So like, you kind of want to make it big first and then hit them, because it'll do so much more damage than me just kind of hitting them, you know, when it's not huge. So yeah, so that's what you can do when you're on someone. And then Yumi's E, which is really it costs a lot of mana. So you kind of don't want to use this too often, or you run out of mana. But it gives your ally that you're on top of attack speed, and it also heals them. But if you're not on top of them, it'll obviously heal yourself instead. But you typically always, this is kind of what, Yumi's bread and butter. So, you heal them, and then it gives them attack speed for a short amount of time. So Yumi's really, really notorious for that. And then Yumi's ultimate is like these little wave things that she does, where I'll show you. After a champion gets hit by it 3 times, then they get rooted. And, you could do it by yourself. It also stays in one direction. You can do it by yourself, or you can do it, when you're on someone, but then, you can't move around. But it's typically good, when, like, you're on a like one of your allies and, they're trying to run, or you're trying to engage or something like that. So it's pretty good. Another thing you probably noticed about Yumi is that you don't actually take flash on her. Because typically, Yumi spends a lot of time on her ally champs, so you typically always want to take Ignite and Exhaust over Flash. Or you could take Heal instead of Ignite or Flash, like if your ally that you're with in bot lane wants to take something else other than Heal. But typically this is what you'll always run in terms of your summoner spells. For Yumi runes, I'll go ahead and put those up on the screen now so you can see, what I typically tend to take when I play Yumi. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what you're typically going to buy on Yumi. So you're always going to want to run Spell Thief's Edge almost about every single time, 100%. And for boots, you actually don't buy boots on Yumi. Again, because, you're spending a lot of time on, your ally champs. So you really don't need to buy boots, so that's a great plus for Yumi, because it frees up space for her to buy stuff. So you're definitely gonna always want to buy Spell Thief's Edge, and then for her mythic item, you're gonna want to buy Moonstone Renewer. It gives healing to your allies when they're in combat. It's just really overall good on Yumi. Super good. I guess you could also opt in for Imperial Mandate, but I just recommend, especially if you're newer to the game, to just buy Moonstone Renewer, so you can give, your teammates that extra healing, and it's just super good. For other items that you're going to want to build on Yumi, you can definitely opt in for an Ardent Censer, Staff of Flowing Water, Redemption. You could build on Mikhail's, and I think that should fill up most of your spots, but if it doesn't, you can always opt in for this Wardstone or Chemtech Purifier, but most of the time you're just going to run those items that I was just telling you about now. But yeah, that wraps it up for Yumi. I'm now going to go to literally the last champion that I think is probably the easiest champion to play the game, along with Yumi. Again, if you can't afford Yumi, I'm going to show you an alternative that's much cheaper. But yeah, so let's go ahead and show you the next champion, the last champ. Okay, and the last and final champ that I honestly think is literally like the easiest champ along with Yumi is going to be Soraka. So you probably saw that coming a mile away, especially if you guys are, more familiar with League of Legends and played it before. But Soraka is pretty similar to Yumi. She does have some differences, apart from Yumi, like she can't hop on champs, but she definitely is up there with Yumi among, some of the easier champions to play in League, or probably the easiest champ to play in League. So I'm going to go ahead and run through Soraka's abilities. She's really cheap. I think she's probably like the cheapest champ you can buy. And she's super simple to play. So her Q, basically what you do is you throw like this thing out of the sky, and then when it comes down, it deals damage to the enemy. And the good thing about her Q is if you hit an enemy with it, it actually heals you. So just a really good tip. Like if you ever get low on HP, you can just hit an enemy with your Q, and then it'll, give you HP. Soraka's W is kind of like Yumi's E. I probably shouldn't compare the champs too much to confuse you, but Soraka's W, basically what it does, it just, heals your ally champ. And it's pretty nice. And another helpful tip about Soraka's W is actually if you hit an enemy with your Q and it heals you, you can actually heal your enemy for like 3 times the healing that your W would normally give. It's a little confusing, so you can probably just remember that, you know, W heals your ally, so you don't get too confused. But for those of you that kind of want to like go above and beyond, if you can try and land your Q and then heal an ally, then you'll definitely get much more healing from that. But you could always just, you know, use the base W healing, and you won't have too many problems with that. Soraka's E, it puts down this little zone thing, and basically if people or enemies are standing in the zone, they can't use their abilities. They become silenced. And if they actually stand on it for too long, like you just noticed, they actually get rooted. So it's really, really helpful, especially in like team fights or when you're like fighting with your, you know, your ADC or your ally in the bot lane. You could just, you know, put your E down on the enemies, and then they can't use any abilities unless they walk out of it. And then, you know, if they stay in it too long, then they get rooted. So it's really, really powerful, sorry, I can't talk today. And then Soraka's ultimate, which is probably, you know, her bread and butter, is, it's basically like, her W, but it heals your entire team no matter where they are on the map. It's a global ult. So like, I could put like a dummy over here or something, and if I'm in bot lane and say like we're about to die, or I see that someone on my team is about to die, I can press ult, and then it heals everyone on my team for a certain amount. It's super, super OP, and you know, it's just it's really, really good. So you could definitely use that to your advantage. But let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and put the runes up on the screen for Soraka. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. Definitely want to run this in all of your Soraka games for the most part. But let's go ahead and get into the items for Soraka. So you have 2 options here. You have Spell Thief's Edge or Relic Shield. I'm genuinely going to recommend with the rune page setup that I'm showing you guys, definitely going to recommend that you guys probably run Relic Shield, especially because nowadays people are playing a lot of more aggressive supports. Relic Shield is kind of just a safer option, but you can always opt for Spell Thief's Edge if you want to play a little more aggressive, you know, try to, you know, be annoying with your abilities and all that stuff. So you could run either one of these. Definitely would recommend this though with the current rune setup that I showed you guys. But in terms of her boots, you can either run like Boots of Swiftness, or you can run Boots of Lucidity, again, for the, you know, to spam your abilities more. I tend to run like Mobility Boots, but that just becomes stupid. But again, you just want to always run like this, or Lucidity. In terms of her mythic item, you always want to run Moonstone Renewer, super, super OP on healing champs. Don't think that needs to be explained again. And then for her items, again, you could run, I think something really, really good on her is Redemption. People tend to run that really, really often on her, so you can definitely opt in for Redemption. Then you can go for things like Ardent Sensor. You could do Staff of Flowing Waters. It'll definitely be really good on her. And then, you know, you can opt in for, you know, any other of these items if you guys still need to fill up inventory space. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up, guys. I hope you guys, you know, learned something from this guide. I definitely spent a lot of time, you know, picking and choosing which champs I thought that would be the easiest for anyone that's, you know, trying to pick up the game and, you know, trying to learn how to play League. You know, in today's environment and with season 11 going on. But the season actually just started today for me and for, you know, everyone else. So if you guys do plan on playing ranked, I wish you guys the best of luck in all of your ranked games, and, you know, hopefully that you guys will be able to reach your dream rank this year. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up. If you guys liked this video and enjoyed it and you learned something, I would really appreciate if you leave a like, comment, and let me know if you, you know, think I did a good job, or if you have any of your own opinions, if you played this game before, or anything like that. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see you guys with another video. If you guys like this one, might make another one. Who knows? But yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping in, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys with another one.